When we first got word about the shooting, nearby schools where they were immediately put on lockdown, as well as businesses.
Yeah, here to talk more about the action taken is Nassau County Executive Laura Curran. Good morning, Laura, County Executive. We appreciate your time today. I know there's a lot going on. You're going to be holding a press conference in just a few hours. But as we heard from Katie Corrado, the suspect here, Gabriel Dewitt, 31 years old. It was a 4-hour standoff. He was a cart assistant there. Do you think that the other folks who were injured in this, and we know the manager was killed, but the other 2 employees, were they targeted?
You know, all of that will become clear as the investigation unfolds. As you know, this is very quickly evolving. Law enforcement is busy getting, they did a fantastic job yesterday apprehending the suspect while keeping the surrounding community safe. So now, of course, the investigation really begins into what the motive is and everything else.
We understand you're having a press conference later this morning at 10 a.m., as are police. Is there any new information this morning that you can share with us, as people may still be on edge, specifically in the areas of West Hempstead around Nassau County?
Well, I think you're right. People are on edge, and I take some comfort in the fact that our law enforcement here in Nassau County is very well trained. Unfortunately, we have to train for this sort of thing, but fortunately, we do train for this sort of thing. Same with the schools. They do the lockout, the lockdown drills. So everyone jumped into action. They knew what they had to do. And I think we had the best possible outcome. I mean, the suspect was apprehended. He was out there for a while, was probably armed. That was obviously very concerning to the communities and to us. And the fact that they got him so quickly without, while keeping all of the surrounding community safe is a really big deal. And to your question, Dan, any news that we have that's evolving, we'll make sure that we keep you abreast of it.
I want to be very specific here, because this is on the heels of what we saw play out at a supermarket in Boulder, Colorado, where a person walked in and just opened fire. This seemed to be different, right? So can you just confirm for us that this was, in fact, a workplace situation? It seemed pointed, it seemed directed. He walked in, he knew to go to the top floor where the offices were.
All of this will come out. The investigation is ongoing. It's premature for me right now on this air to hypothesize. I mean, it certainly looks that way, but we have to see where the investigation leads. Witnesses have to be spoken to. There's a lot that goes into it. And I wouldn't want to just throw hypotheses out there without making sure they're fully 100% true.
Understood. But also there's reports that he actually asked for his job back before shooting that manager that you spoke of. I want to ask you about mental health, because there is some clear indication that he has a history of mental illness. He's got a prior assault, drug-related arrest as well. What is being done in Nassau County to combat mental illness, especially in this pandemic when we are seeing a rise?
There seems to be a through line with all of these events that we've seen across the country, and now, unfortunately, has come home to Nassau County. That through line appears to be mental health issues. We're making sure, we have a wonderful Department of Social Services. We're making sure that we work with our 911 operators if there's a mental health issue, to make sure that we have folks from our mental health community available to help if that's needed. We also want to make sure there are so many resources, mental health resources, substance abuse resources in Nassau County, and we want to make sure that people are aware of them. Along with calling 911, you can call 516-227-TALK 24/7. I was just right before the shooting happened, just as it was happening, I was at a ribbon cutting at CN Guidance that works with substance abuse and mental health issues. And their clients, who knows how many lives may have been saved through that kind of important work. But the thing is, we have the resources there. We want to do everything we can, and we are doing everything we can to connect people with those resources.
Mental health is the one aspect of it, as is gun legislation and gun reform, which we have been talking about for what seems like forever now, right? Where does the conversation go for you, especially when it hits so close to home in Nassau County, when it comes to gun reform and gun legislation?
Oh, that's such an important question. We have gun laws, but they're not consistent state by state. So, when there is a case like this, we look to see, was it legally purchased? Where was it purchased? All of this is really important, and we have to work with our federal partners. We have to work with our law enforcement partners around the country to track these guns and to make sure that those laws are properly being followed.
We're almost out of time, but I got to get your reaction. You tweeted the following about the Chauvin trial, saying today's guilty verdicts in the Derek Chauvin case are important, a step for justice in our nation. The tragic murder of George Floyd rightfully spurred both outrage and action, including historic police reform here in Nassau County. So I want to talk about that police reform. What changes in reform are we seeing in Nassau County?
You know, we're always looking to continue to build trust between communities and the police who protect and serve them. Training is incredibly important. As we saw yesterday, because of that training, we had the best possible outcome for a terrible situation. We're going to reinforce training. We're going to reinforce good community relations through positive interactions as much as possible. We have a new police academy that we're building that is almost done being built, that we're really, that training, adding days of training, all of that is incredibly important. That's what keeps our community safe, and that's what keeps our law enforcement able to do their job in a safe way.
I think community relations, restoring that trust is going to be a big component for police departments around the country. Nassau County Executive Laura Curran, always appreciate you making the time for us. Thank you for being here.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.